right. So who here hasn't felt like that total dread of putting themselves out there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that fear of rejection, it can be pretty crippling.
Totally. But get this. The excerpt we're diving into today claims most of us only face like 5 to 7 truly soul-crushing rejections in our whole lives. 5 to 7.
Wow, that's way less than I would have thought.
Right. Makes you wonder if we're blowing things way out of proportion. So today we're going to deep dive into this whole rejection thing, see what we can learn about, facing our fears and moving forward.
Sounds good.
So first off, if we only experience a handful of truly bad rejections, why does it feel like we're constantly getting shot down?
Well, part of it is like our perception, right?
Okay, explain that.
Like we tend to overestimate negative experiences. It's a cognitive bias. Our brains kind of latch onto those threats.
Interesting. So like those rejections, even small ones, they stick with us.
Exactly. They can become these big, scary memories.
Yeah. It's like you go on this amazing road trip, right? Beautiful scenery, smooth sailing, but then you hit one pothole and suddenly that's all you can remember.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. The pothole overshadows the whole journey.
Totally. So thinking back on your own life, how many rejections have actually shaped you? Probably not as many as it feels like, right?
Probably not. And the source actually goes deeper into that. Like, who are these people doing the rejecting? What's their deal? It breaks it down into 4 reasons people criticize.
4. Okay, hit me.
Self-boasting, self-protection, ignorance. And then, believe it or not, sometimes it's actually well-meaning intentions.
Okay, self-boasting, I get that. It's like those people who just have to one-up you or put you down to make themselves feel better.
Exactly. They get off on making you feel small.
It's all about them and their insecurities.
Yeah, their negativity says more about them than it does about you. So, don't take it personally.
Easier said than done sometimes. What about the self-protection type?
Right. So these are people who might feel threatened by, your success or your boldness.
Because it makes them feel bad about themselves.
In a way, yeah. They might see your achievements as a reflection of their own shortcomings.
So they lash out.
It's a defense mechanism. Like, your actions are pushing them outside their comfort zone. Then there's the critics driven by ignorance, which honestly is a lot of them.
Yeah, the folks who just don't have all the facts.
Right, they're missing crucial information, context, whatever. So their opinions, kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, pointless to even engage. And finally, we've got the well-intentioned critics, the ones who, they think they're helping.
Yeah, but their delivery could use some work.
Big time. It's like, thanks for the feedback, but did you have to be so harsh?
Right, but the key takeaway here is to focus on the message, not the sting.
So, separate the intent from how it was said.
Exactly.
Okay, so with all this negativity swirling around, how do we figure out what's actually useful and what's just noise?
That's where the whole filtering thing comes in, right? The source really emphasizes learning to discern between good and bad criticism.
And how do we do that?
Well, there are a few things you can do. First, ask yourself, what's the critic's motivation? Are they genuinely trying to help you, or are they just, being a jerk?
Okay, so consider the source.
Right. And second, seek feedback from people you trust. People who get you, who support your goals.
People who will be honest but kind.
Exactly. Because their opinions actually matter. And finally, pay attention to the criticism that aligns with your values and what you want to achieve.
So you don't get sidetracked by random opinions.
Exactly. Stay focused on your own path.
And that brings us to, the biggest takeaway from this whole thing. Silencing yourself because you're afraid of getting rejected, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice. And maybe even the world.
It's like, think of all the amazing things that would never have happened if people were too afraid to put themselves out there.
Right. Every invention, every work of art, it all started with someone who is willing to be different.
It takes guts to be yourself, to share your ideas. That line from the excerpt really stuck with me. Never apologize for being authentically you.
I love that. It's so true. Embracing your authentic self is essential for growth.
Totally. So here's something to think about as we wrap up. If you could go back and unsilence yourself at any point in your life, what would it be? What did fear stop you from doing?
That's a powerful question. Because we all face rejection. It's part of life.
Doesn't mean it has to control us, though.
Exactly. The key is learning to recognize true rejection, filter out all that noise, and just be yourself.
Embrace your awesome, unique self. That's where the magic happens. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. See you next time.